Picture this. You step onto a ship for Mars, and the moment the hatch closes, Earth is already gone for you. Not because the rocket can't come back, not because we forget how to land, but because your body quietly changes into something Earth can't handle anymore. A lot of people think the hardest part of Mars is engineering. The brutal truth is biology. We reach the moon in about 3 days. Mars is not a quick hop. Depending on the flight window and trajectory, you're looking at roughly 6 to 9 months just to get there. And the same to come back. That turns one mission into a multi-year separation from Earth, sometimes close to 3 years away from home before a return is even possible. And distance doesn't just feel scary, it breaks the safety net. At its closest, Mars is still tens of millions of kilometers away. Radio signals can take around 20 minutes to cross the gap, one way. So if something goes wrong, there is no real-time help. No rescue ship, no emergency evacuation, a medical crisis. The nearest hospital isn't down the road. It's months away. You are more alone than any human has ever been. But the real danger isn't loneliness. It's what the trip does to you, system by system, day after day. A Mars mission forces your body to live through 3 completely different gravity worlds. First, long-term weightlessness during the cruise phase. Then, Mars gravity, only about 38% of Earth's. And if you try to come home, full Earth gravity again. That sounds like an inconvenience. In reality, it's a stress test the human body was never built to pass for years at a time. Because you are optimized for one environment, Earth. Move away from that environment long enough, and a slow transformation starts. And after a certain point, some of it may not fully reverse. We already see a preview on the International Space Station. Astronauts who spend months in orbit often need weeks to walk normally again. Bone density drops, muscles shrink, balance systems get confused, even the heart changes. And that's after missions where Earth is only about 400 kilometers below them. With rescue always theoretically possible, a Mars mission stretches the exposure far longer and removes the safety exit. So, what actually makes returning to Earth so hard? It's a chain reaction, and the first domino is invisible: radiation. On Earth, our atmosphere and magnetic field block the overwhelming majority of harmful space radiation. In deep space, that protection disappears. During a long Mars mission, astronauts can receive radiation doses on the order of hundreds to over 1,000 millisieverts, depending on mission profile and solar activity, massively higher than typical exposure on Earth. And radiation doesn't just make you feel sick, it changes cells. DNA damage accumulates, cancer risk rises, blood vessels and heart tissue can age faster, and the brain can take hits that show up as slower thinking, memory issues, and impaired decision-making. Even the eyes are at risk. Cataracts can develop earlier, and the immune system can weaken because bone marrow and blood-forming tissues are vulnerable. The cruel part? Shielding is not a simple fix. Some materials reduce one kind of radiation, but can produce secondary particles that create new problems. So while you're being quietly bombarded at the cellular level, something equally dramatic is happening to your frame, bones and muscles. Your body is basically an adaptation machine. On Earth, gravity is the constant pressure that tells your bones and muscles, stay strong, you're needed. Take gravity away, and your body starts asking a terrifying question: why keep maintaining expensive tissue? In weightlessness, astronauts can lose roughly 1 to 3% of bone density per month in critical areas. Month after month, the structure becomes more porous. That doesn't sound huge until you extend the timeline. 6 months can mean a double-digit percentage drop. A year can become severe. 2 years pushes into territory that resembles serious osteoporosis, except in a healthy adult. The worst part is where it happens. Hips, spine, legs. The exact bones you rely on to stand, walk, and survive under Earth gravity. And the mechanism is sneaky. Bone building slows down because the load signal is gone. Bone breakdown continues. Calcium gets released. Then your kidneys have to deal with it, raising the risk of painful kidney stones during the mission. Muscles follow the same logic. No gravity means your legs, back, and core don't have to fight to hold you upright. So they shrink. You can lose muscle at a similar pace, again, month after month. And it's not just size. Muscle fibers can shift toward fast, quick-burst behavior that fatigues easily, instead of the endurance you need for daily life under gravity. Which is why astronauts coming back from the ISS often describe basic things, like stairs, as shockingly difficult. And it doesn't stop there. Joints, tendons, and cartilage also respond to reduced mechanical stress. Cartilage can thin. Tendons can weaken, long-term. That can raise the risk of joint problems earlier than you'd expect. On the ISS, they fight this with intense countermeasures. Astronauts exercise for around 2 hours a day with specialized resistance and cardio equipment. But even then, the decline is slowed, not erased, and recovery on Earth can take months, sometimes longer. And some changes may never fully return to baseline. Now connect that to a Mars timeline. You spend 6 to 9 months in near weightlessness going out. Then many months on Mars, where gravity is better than zero, but still far below Earth's. Then, if you attempt the return, another 6 to 9 months in weightlessness. By the time you see Earth again, your body may be fundamentally reconditioned for low gravity. And that sets up the most dangerous moment of all, standing up on Earth. If bone density has dropped dramatically, fractures become a real risk from normal movement. If leg and core strength are deeply reduced, even supporting your own weight becomes an ordeal. And the most critical muscle of all is also changing during the mission: your heart. On Earth, your heart constantly works against gravity to send blood upward to the brain. That workload keeps it strong. In weightlessness, that resistance largely disappears. So the heart adapts like any other muscle would. It can shrink, it can weaken, and your blood and fluid distribution changes dramatically. In microgravity, fluids shift upward, faces get puffy, legs get thinner. The body thinks there's too much fluid near the chest and head, so it reduces overall blood volume. That can drop by around 10 to 20% in extended missions, so you end up with a smaller pump pushing less volume. Then you come back to Earth gravity, and suddenly blood wants to pool in the legs again. The brain gets less blood, blood pressure can crash, astronauts can get dizzy, struggle to stand, or even faint. That condition already happens after shorter ISS stays. After a multi-year Mars mission, it could be far more severe. And remember, radiation doesn't just raise cancer risk. It can also damage blood vessels and accelerate cardiovascular aging. So now you have a heart that's smaller, a circulatory system that's deconditioned, and vessels that may be more fragile. Earth gravity becomes not just uncomfortable, but potentially dangerous. Put it all together, and you see why, under today's constraints, Mars starts to look one way in practice. Not because humans can't build a return ship, but because the human body may not safely tolerate the return environment. After years of deep space radiation and long-term low gravity. That's why researchers keep exploring solutions like artificial gravity, better radiation shielding, faster transit, and new medical countermeasures. But as of now, None of those solutions are fully proven for a long, real Mars mission. So the harsh conclusion remains. The first people who go to Mars may have to accept that they are not just visiting, they are changing. And by the time Earth rises in the window again, their bodies might belong to another planet,